Oh, pretty sure that is the biggest IEM box I have ever seen. And in today's video, I'm reviewing the NF Audio NE4 Evolution IEM with interchangeable tuning faceplates. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. Now, this box is simply enormous. It is so large, you could be forgiven for thinking that there is just an endless amount of things inside this box. There are quite a few things in there, really, but is it really necessary to have a box that big? Just, I don't know, does the size of the box increase with the price nowadays? Anyway, let's have a look at these IEMs, and there they are. They are, whoopsie, they are aluminium alloy shells, very nicely crafted, exquisite really. They are kind of large. The big selling point of these IEMs is their interchangeable faceplates, and here we've got a selection here. Got the transparent one, the pop one. This is called the Explore, and the black ones here are called Reference. And these faceplates are basically full of circuitry. They are different electronic crossovers. So by swapping out the faceplates via undoing this little screw here, you can get some quite distinctly different sound profiles. Now, the system for changing the faceplates is quite simple, but it's not exactly what I would call easy. And that's because these screws are minuscule. They're so small. So it's going to test your eyesight. It's going to test the dexterity of your fingers. And if you're like me, it's going to some extent test the limits of your patience, because it does take quite some time to swap these things over. I'm pretty sure, look, I love this system. I think it's a great idea, but I'm sure there are better ways to implement the swapping of the faceplates, maybe a magnetic system or a latch, or, you know, something that there's got to be an easier way, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm getting carried away. I haven't even told you what the price is yet. And the price is an eye-watering $749. Yes, you heard that right. $749 US. Inside of each of these IEMs, we've got 4 balanced armature drivers. That's it. 4 BA drivers. I know, right? You might be thinking, why? Why the cost? Well, it's because NF Audio is a professional audio company, and these are marketed as professional audio in-ear monitors. So if you are a professional musician, or you do content creation or audio monitoring, mixing, etc., yeah, this is what these are all about. And of course, if you are just an audio enthusiast as well, quite welcome to join the party. This is the cable here. It's a generic silver-plated copper cable. It's decent quality, but honestly, when you're talking about $700+ IEM, I think you could do a bit better in terms of the cable. Maybe this was intentionally bland in terms of aesthetics, because it's meant to be sort of part of a professional working piece of equipment. I don't know, but in my opinion, I think definitely the cable could be nicer. And I have more gripes as well, and I'm not bagging on the IEM. I just think that, you know, when you're talking about large prices like this, nitpicking is a bit more on the board. So this is the case, and it's a reasonably nice little case, but it is quite little. It's a bit small, and on top of that, you don't really get anything to store your faceplates in. I think these should all have a little clear plastic box or something that they sit nicely in. But anyway, let's get on with the sound now, because I'm sure you are dying to know. So how does the NE4 Evolution actually sound? And how should I start this? Well, let's start with the graph. And right there, you can see the 4 different filters that I have on the graph. And you can see they all have their own distinct sound profile legitimately, whereas a lot of these, nozzle filters that we're used to seeing, they basically just change the quantity of the bass, or even those little micro switches that we see on the back of a lot of little IEMs that you flick up and down. They do very minor changes as well. You can see the NE4 here. These really do make quite drastic changes, so there's potentially no limit to the amount of different sound profiles that you could get. I assume they're going to release more filters in the future as well, so you get quite a versatile system. I'm not going to break down the sound of these filters all independently. If you know about graphs, how to read a graph even a little bit, you can sort of get an idea from the graph you see there. I'm going to talk about the reference black faceplates because, in my opinion, this is the gold. This is where the money's at, and at least to my ears, this is where the best sound comes from. These reference faceplates. So when it comes to the sound, the NE4 Evolution has got a few standout characteristics. First of all, it creates an exceptionally wide soundscape, or a very wide soundstage. It reaches far in all directions. So the soundstage has very good width, very good depth, and a nice amount of height within the stage as well. The technical performance of the NE4 is fantastic. I'll cover more on that a little later. And the natural timbre and mid-range resolution is outstanding on this IEM. It's one of the airiest IEMs I've tested recently, despite having a somewhat laid-back treble. But let's break it down, starting with the bass, and this sort of prioritizes a tight and controlled low end, offering an alternative for anyone who sort of values precision over power. So keep in mind, balanced armature drivers here, you're not going to have a big, powerful bass that moves lots of air and has a huge sub-bass rumble. You won't find that here. And while this might lack that sort of deep chest rumbling sub-bass that dynamic drivers can produce, the bass here, the bass extension is really impressive, and the lows feel both natural and well-defined, nice organic sounding bass. So for regular music like rock or pop, etc., I could easily forget that this is an all-BA IEM. The bass sounds so natural, the tone of it, the feeling, the quantity of it, the volume and the weight, it feels and sounds very much almost like a dynamic driver. The only place where it's going to feel and sound different is in that very low sub-bass region. But of course, the benefit of having, balanced armature bass is just that tightness, that control, that beautiful tone. And in regards to an all-balanced armature bass, this is probably the best one I've ever heard outside of my sort of high-end custom IEMs. Now for the mid-range, we've got a neutral note weight, excellent instrument separation, which helps to create that spacious organic sound. Vocals are crystal clear and articulate, yet they are still immersive and they still sound rich. Instruments like cellos and, string instruments, they sound lush and full-bodied, yet they are transparent and uncolored. There's a sort of a mild upper mid-range lift, which adds vibrancy and clarity, but it doesn't sound forced or overly assertive, so it doesn't get shouty up there. And overall, the mid-range is smooth, but it's very nuanced, it's organic, and it's engaging. Then for our treble, the highs are crisp, they're airy, they're full of detail. There is a sort of a slight warmth to treble notes, almost as if they've got this dense core which is surrounded by a sort of a glowing halo, if you know what I'm trying to say. And what that does, it sort of enables the treble to be soft and spacious, yet precise and textured all at the same time, with great spacing and a nice agility. So there's no sibilance or sharpness, at least with this black reference filter, which results in a smooth and really airy presentation. It extends the detail and the sparkle of the highs, but without producing any fatigue. So you've got this beautiful light ethereal treble going on, which of course leads us to the Soundstage, which, as I said before, it's expansive, it's spacious. Because we've got an all-balanced armature IEM, the transients are snappy, they're clean, which gives you a nice black background with ample space between each instrument and vocal. So instrument separation is above par here, and placement within the stage or imaging is very precise too. And while the NE4 might not be the most absolute detailed IEM on the market, it will still reveal pretty much all of those micro details. So that's basically how I would describe the sound of the NE4, though I feel I'm not doing it. I feel like I'm doing it as disservice because it's hard to articulate just how good it sounds, the accuracy of the tone and the timbre. So this is a great tool for audio professionals. If you need accuracy, this is really good for that. But on top of that, it's just a pleasure to listen to. These sound fantastic, and the mid-range resolution, the way that every instrument and vocal has its own distinct place within the soundstage. The note density, the note weight is just spot on. It sounds so natural, very realistic. It's immersive, it's engaging. The only people I think who could listen to this and not enjoy it are those who are looking for those big sub-bass rumbles. But apart from that, these are just really outstanding. So what do I think at the end of the day? Well, in case you didn't get it, I love the sound of this. I just think that the pricing might be a little too ambitious. I mean, after all, it's a 4 BA driver IEM. It doesn't have an exotic driver mix. It doesn't have any planar, dynamic. Doesn't have EST or piezoelectric, just 4 BAs. And NF Audio is still a relatively unknown name, at least in the Western market, I think. So they might have a hard time sort of getting people to take that leap of faith and hit the buy button because the price is pretty high. I do wish they were priced a little bit lower. However, having said that, I think that the audio quality, at least with the black reference faceplate, is actually worthy of that price. They do sound that good, believe me. But whether or not that's going to be enough to make people jump on and give them a go, well, that remains to be seen. But having said that, I'm going to wrap that up. That's the NF Audio NE4 Evolution IEM. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, Parfam audiophile style. If you're new here, consider hitting the subscribe button before you go. And until next time, I'll see you later.